Thank you again. Warm welcome in Vienna. The floor is yours.
Well, dear Minister, first of all, dear attendees, first of all, I would like to thank my colleague, Mr. Schallenberg, for the invitation to Vienna and the warm welcome. The contacts between the two countries and between me and my counterpart, my dear friend, including on the level of foreign ministers, are quite intensive, and today as well we had fruitful discussions on many issues of mutual interest. We commended the high level of political dialogue between Armenia and Austria, touched upon the dynamically developing bilateral cooperation in recent years in areas of economy, trade, business ties, science, education, culture, people-to-people contacts, and other spheres. In this context, we mentioned the role and activities of the Armenian-Austrian Joint Commission on Trade, Economic and Scientific Technical Cooperation, as well as the prospects of effective use of existing and tapped potential in all mentioned areas. Mr. Minister, I'm glad to mention the significant increase in bilateral trade turnover between our countries during the first half of this year. In this context, I recall the Armenian-Austrian Business Forum that took place in Yerevan during your visit last year. I give special importance also to the commitment of Austria to support the sustainable development efforts in Armenia. During your visit in 2022, the opening of the Austrian Development Agency Coordination Office in Yerevan indeed was a stimulus for the development of our relations. Today we also exchanged views on our cooperation in various international platforms, including the framework in the framework of the United Nations and the OSCE. A wide range of issues related to the Armenia-EU partnership was on the agenda of our meeting. We touched upon the importance of the EU's consistent assistance to democratic reforms and the development of institutional capacities in Armenia. We attached particular importance to the activities of the EU civilian monitoring mission operating in Armenia since February. It makes an important contribution to reducing tensions and preventing escalations at international borders between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I expressed my gratitude to my colleague and the government of Austria for the participation of the Austrian observers in this mission. I would like to note that we also discussed the possibilities of Armenia-EU cooperation in the field of security, taking into account the inaugural meeting of the Armenian-EU Political and Security Dialogue held in January this year. Dear attendees, our discussion today also focused on developments on regional security and stability. I briefed my colleague on the security situation in the South Caucasus, Armenia's vision of establishing peace, the process of normalization of relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and the efforts made by Armenia and the international community to achieve results. We are confident, and I believe that Armenia is not alone on this, that stable peace in the region is possible if the issues of the rights and security of the people of Nagorno-Karabakh are properly addressed within the framework of an international mechanism through Stepanakert Baku dialogue. In this context, it is regrettable to state that instead of engaging in such a dialogue, Azerbaijan is currently pursuing a policy of ethnic cleansing in Nagorno-Karabakh. A clear manifestation of it is the blockade of Nagorno-Karabakh, which has been going on for more than 7 months now. Nagorno-Karabakh is now on the verge of a humanitarian catastrophe. This is happening in violation of international humanitarian norms and contrary to the numerous appeals of international actors, resolutions, and the legally binding order of the International Court of Justice of February 22, by the way, the court, which, by the way, the court reaffirmed with its order on July 6 this year. In the negotiation process with Azerbaijan, the key issue is to ensure maximum certainty regarding the interstate border. In this context, it should be emphasized that the borders of the former Soviet republics, as recognized by the Almaty Declaration, serve as the interstate border between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Armenia is also interested in unblocking the regional economic and transport infrastructure, which should be based on the sovereignty and jurisdiction of the countries, and according to the principles of equality and reciprocity. Of course, for reaching agreements to the mentioned issues, the general atmosphere is very important. The rejection of the use of force or threat of use of force, as well as hostile and aggressive rhetoric, the solution of urgent humanitarian issues, in particular release of all Armenian prisoners of war by Azerbaijan, are important for creating an environment conducive for peace. In conclusion, I would like to note that in the above mentioned issues and as a priority in lifting the blockade of Lachin corridor, Armenia expects effective steps by international actors, especially by the members of the UN Security Council. Mr. Minister, dear friend, thank you once again for the warm, welcome and fruitful, comprehensive conversation. I'm greatly interested in continuing this dialogue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.